Welcome to Auto Foresight. For a long time, the conversation around Lexus went something like this: reliable, refined, and quietly competent. What it almost never included was first. The 2026 Lexus ES changes that. This is the 8th generation of the brand's flagship sedan for North America. And for the first time in the model's history, Lexus is offering it as a fully battery electric vehicle. That is a significant statement from a brand whose entire identity has been built on the slow, deliberate evolution of hybrid technology. The question worth holding on to is this: does a brand built on reliability translate that into the electric space? Or does it start over from scratch? The answer turns out to be more interesting than expected. The ES has always sat at the heart of the Lexus lineup in North America. It is the highest volume luxury sedan the brand sells in that market. More popular than the GS ever was, more accessible than the LS. Its buyers tend to prioritize long-term dependability over performance credentials, and Lexus knows this. For years, that has meant one powertrain path: hybrid. The 2026 model opens 3. The ES 350h continues the hybrid tradition with what Lexus describes as a 6th-generation hybrid system, one that specifically improves the motor generator efficiency and addresses the responsiveness of the ECVT. For anyone who has driven earlier Lexus hybrids, that last detail is worth noting. The gradual, elastic feeling under hard acceleration, what many drivers describe as the rubber band effect, has been a long-standing refinement target for the system. According to Lexus, this generation makes the most significant progress on it yet. The ES 350e introduces front-wheel drive battery electric power as the entry point into the BEV range. Above it sits the ES 500e, a dual-motor all-wheel drive version for buyers who want both the electric powertrain and confident all-weather capability. Now, about that platform decision and why it matters more than it first appears. The 2026 ES rides on what Lexus and Toyota call the multi-pathway platform, an evolution of the TNGA-K architecture. What makes this choice distinctive in the current market is what it allows Lexus to do simultaneously: build an internal combustion hybrid, a conventional hybrid, and a fully electric sedan all on the same production line. That is unusual. Most automakers building dedicated electric vehicles have moved to purpose-built EV platforms precisely because accommodating a battery pack under the floor requires a fundamentally different structure. Lexus has engineered a solution that avoids that trade-off, placing the 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack under the floor without compromising the interior. The result of that engineering decision is visible in one number. The 2026 ES has a wheelbase that is 3.1 inches longer than the outgoing generation. That is the largest wheelbase stretch in the model's history, and it moves the ES meaningfully closer to LS territory in terms of rear passenger space. Overall length is up by 6.5 inches and width is up by 2.2 inches. This is not a subtle update. The footprint of this car has genuinely grown. The battery pack itself sits under the rear seat in the hybrid model and under the floor in the BEV versions. The practical outcome is a preserved cargo area that does not ask buyers to trade luggage space for the privilege of electric power. On range, the ES 350e carries an EPA estimated figure of 307 miles from its 74.7 kilowatt-hour pack. For context, that figure puts it in genuine competition with the established names in this segment. The BMW i5, the Mercedes EQE, and the Genesis G80 Electric all occupy broadly the same range territory. There is something worth pausing on here. Lexus is entering the electric sedan space not with a high-risk, high-specification flagship, but with a number that reads as sensible, dependable, and confidence-building. It is, arguably, exactly the promise that ES buyers have come to expect from the brand. The approach mirrors the hybrid philosophy: let the real-world performance do the talking over time, rather than chasing headline numbers. One additional signal of that long-term confidence: Lexus offers a 10-year, 1 million kilometer battery warranty in certain markets. That figure is not common in the segment. For the brand's core buyer, who thinks in decades rather than lease cycles, it is likely the most meaningful specification in the document. Inside, the 2026 ES introduces a 14.0-inch touchscreen running Lexus interface software, paired with a 12.3-inch multi-information display for the driver. Lexus has made a deliberate decision here that deserves attention. Physical volume and tuning controls have been retained alongside the large screen. This is a direct response to the feedback that followed competitors who moved to fully touch-based interfaces. Whether or not that feedback was loud enough to change purchasing decisions is debatable, but Lexus has clearly heard it. At the top of the range, the luxury trim's executive package includes 4-way power rear seats with massage function and a deployable ottoman. In the context of a sedan that is growing its rear seat proportions toward LS territory, that combination is the clearest signal yet of where Lexus wants this car to sit in the minds of buyers. The aerodynamic story is efficient rather than dramatic. A drag coefficient of 0.25 is achieved through a flat underbody design and active grille shutters that manage airflow depending on speed and thermal load. That figure supports the range target without requiring an aggressively styled body, which fits the ES character well. On launch timing and pricing, the 2026 ES is scheduled to reach dealerships in April 2026. According to official information, the base MSRP starts at $47,500. The ES has historically held its value well in the North American market, and, combined with the brand's reliability reputation, that starting point positions it competitively against the i5 and EQE at entry level. Market availability details for regions beyond North America have not yet been fully confirmed. Official information on the ES350h hybrid's full pricing structure and on market-by-market availability is still to be announced. What is worth stepping back to consider here is not just this one model. It is the moment it represents for the brand. Lexus spent decades perfecting one approach to electrification while most of the industry chased the fully electric future. The 2026 ES is the point where those two paths meet. Whether the multi-pathway strategy, building hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and battery electric vehicles from a single architecture, turns out to be the pragmatic answer the industry needed, or whether dedicated EV platforms eventually make it redundant, is one of the more interesting structural questions in the premium sedan segment right now. 3 major brands are running 3 different architectural bets at the same time. The outcome will take several years to read clearly. Which direction do you think holds up? Drop that in the comments. And if you follow upcoming model launches across the segment, Auto Foresight covers them regularly.